Hey, 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 yes, oh boy, do we got a message for you. All right, let's let those notifications go on out because we are going to dive into this, y'all. Oh, yeah, we're going to dive into this because as I continue, yes, remember, case study on the different flavor of the Jezebel. God's helping me connect dots and He's revealing more things. Ooh, glory be to God in the spiritual. And I bring it to y'all because narcissistic abuse is designed to keep people traumatized, it's designed to, yes, cause pain and suffering so that the evildoers can feed on other people's pain and suffering and things like that. Okay. So it entails a whole lot of stuff, but more importantly, narcissistic abuse is supposed to turn people into a Jezebel. I realize this now from all the observations and the case studies and things like that. And there are these Jezebels who don't even know they are a Jezebel. I'm going to let that sink in while those notifications are still going out. I am Michelle Dickey, your host for the Let's Just Chat show, streaming on the YouTube channel Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance and Facebook at Michelle Dickey and Consulting for Heightened Awareness. Because I'm telling you, they don't even know that they are a Jezebel. Okay? That's right. They don't even know. This is what God's talking about with the creeping unawares, y'all. That's right. And, I have to tell you, it's true. The more that sinks in, yep, the more we realize that we've been in this spiritual battle our entire lives. Okay? It is. And I'm going to go ahead and share with you all. While we're out and about, where we're at, running errands and things like that, and I mentioned stuff like that, I'll say real briefly about the spiritual battle for the mind. There's more people out here who know about that than you realize. Oh, yeah. They know. Highly spiritual beings, they know. It's just about everywhere I go. I'll drop a little truth thingy here and there, and they're like, at least one or two. The ones who are still sleeping, they won't necessarily catch that. Okay? But there are Jezebels who don't even know they're Jezebel. But that is what the narcissistic abuse really is supposed to do. And it's supposed to do that through, developing an ism mindset. Now, I want to remind everybody that ism mindset stems from that high pride that God tells us we are not to have. Not to think more highly of ourselves than we ought to. In other words, no matter what our title is, what our position is, what hats we wear, we don't let it go to our head because we know there's others out here who do the similar stuff. Okay? We know that. And we also know that that doesn't make us special just because we have that skill and that talent. Because it's from God, sure. But it doesn't make us any better or more special than anyone else. It certainly does not. All right, seriously, we know we're not perfect, and we also know that we're not better than anyone else. Now, mind you, a lot of us have certain talents and skills that we're quite good at. Yeah, okay, but we're not in competition with anyone because the truth is, we can all learn whatever we want to learn. That's the beauty in God's reality. There's the abundant mindset right there. We can learn whatever we want to learn. But we have to unlearn a lot of worldly garbage in order to be able to learn it. That's the thing right there. So let me share with you all something about these narcissistic abusers, and more specifically the Jezebels, because they are, I tell you, there's something else. And I want you all to keep in mind, okay? If you notice that they are a little too chipper most of the time, that's a pretty good red flag right there to just observe more and speak less. I'm not saying that we're not in a good mood and happy and things like that, but there comes a time in our lives where the maturity sets in to where we don't need to be overly chipper or overly anything. So that's what you want to watch out for, because every single Jezebel that I have come across so far, and I'm sure, any of them that I've come across, they are overly emotional about everything. They are overly this, overly that, overly nice, overly overdoing. Okay, there's no reason for us to be doing that as we grow and mature and put away those childish things. See, that's the thing. I started to notice in that case study, that there were a lot of toddler behaviors that case study was not wanting to let go of. I felt the sense, I felt that spirit of resistance. And also knowing that case study even admitted that they had a hard time turning full control over to God. Ding, 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 ding. That is when they got turned into a case study, because of the simple fact that I was like, okay, because if you're really struggling with that, there's other issues going on there. Because true blue chosen one, once we realize where God is, where the Godhead is within, and He's the only validation that we need, it doesn't, no, God doesn't have to beg us or anything like that. We just let go and let God. It's really simple. We do. So if they tell you they're struggling with letting God have full control, that is a huge red flag right there, that you may be dealing with a Jezebel. Because remember something, the Jezebel spirit, this is why I had a fellow warrior ask, how do you deliver someone out from under a Jezebel spirit? And I was like, they have to know that they're a Jezebel first, and they have to want to be delivered. You cannot approach them and tell them, because they will dish out all the classic narcissistic tactics like denial, blame shifting, all of that stuff. All right. They will not hear you. They do not have spiritual ears to hear. The righteous spiritual ear, that is. Okay. They don't want to. They're demon spirit. No. Oh, yeah. This is like, well, as soon as I saw those snake pupils on the case study, the demon spirit knew that I knew. That is why that case study did what they did. Okay? Yes. So it's not excusing it by any means at all. Oh, no. God got us out of there real quick. Okay? Because we knew exactly what we were dealing with. As soon as I saw those snake pupils, it was done. I was like, wow, okay. Know what we're dealing with. Because once they have the snake pupils, that's it. They're done. They're done. And they like their demon spirit. They like their chaos. They like their drama. And that's the other thing that the narcissistic abusers do, who are Jezebel. Oh my gosh, if there is no chaos or drama, they will find a way to cause it. I mean, all narcissistic abusers do that. But the Jezebels especially, they cannot stand things being calm and peaceful for a length of time. They can't. Right? It irritates them. And so I remember that case study telling me quite some time ago that what they sensed from me was an extreme peace and calm. And I'm like, okay, but the tone, that's what I caught on to, was tone. I'm like, yeah, I bet you don't like that, do you? Okay, well, that's too bad. Because the thing is that once we are over that rainbow and we've got that balance between the spiritual and the physical, and we are obtaining and maintaining our emotional regulation, oh yeah, nothing that the enemy throws at us, no weapon formed against thee shall prosper. Nothing that the enemy tries to throw at us is going to get us down again. No, see, that's what the case study was trying to do. Okay, that's the enemy sent that Jezebel across my path because he wanted to see if stuff that worked in the past would work again. Remember that, you all. Very, very important that the enemy only has a certain bag of tricks. And that's all he's got. You know, the head game, that's all he has. And it's the same old, nothing new under the sun kind of tricks, fiery dart that he will throw out. And so because a circumstance like that did work a couple of times in the past with me not really knowing what happened and things like that, this time we knew, because we all had the forensic training that God needed us to have. And so we knew exactly what happened. Of course, we played the fool. You know, listen, y'all, we have to do this in God's reality sometimes. Sometimes you have to act the fool to let the fool think that they're fooling you and let it go. We don't tell them nothing. We don't need to confront them. We got our notes, and that's what we're doing, is sorting through them. We're not ruminating. No, we are connecting dots for you all. Because these Jezebels, I'm telling you, they can be crafty, but they're not as smart as they think they are. Because they'll concoct some sort of story, like most narcissistic abusers do, and then when they try to feed it to us, trying to tell us something that happened And we instinctively know, because that's the God spirit speaking. So that's just not jiving. That's not adding up. There's too many holes in the story. We start to pick up on that stuff a lot quicker, you all, in God's reality. Okay, we've got to. It's part of being vigilant and aware. And because when we know who we are in Christ, we know ourselves, we know our lifestyle, we just know us, right? Like I've said before, we know who we are. And so when someone's sitting there trying to tell us we did this or said that or whatever, and we just like instinctively know that, no, we didn't. And then also when they were trying to tell us what we were thinking or how we were feeling, we were like, no. But never forget, you all, that these narcissistic abusers out here, they're always going to get it wrong when it comes to a true chosen child of God. Spiritual warriors for Christ, they're always going to get it wrong. And they don't even realize. I know it was funny because I was like sitting here, I was asking God, I was like, okay, because here this case study was still trying to explain herself. You know what I'm saying? It's like she's trying to hey. Let's see what we got going on here. Well, hello everyone. We had a little tech glitch going on there, so we're gonna see what we can't do. See if we can. There we go. All right. Okay, well, thank you for your patience. I had to disconnect from the Wi-Fi, apparently. All right, yes. I had to disconnect from the Wi-Fi, and we've got to use cellular because the thing is, I guess, a bit unstable. That's the notification I got. But we all know that, well, it is what it is, okay? Technology is going to do what technology is going to do. But as I was saying, hi, Melissa. Welcome, okay, everybody? All right, what I was saying is how the Jezebel case study thought that they could get away with what they did. And we all know that God takes care of it. We don't have to do anything. Okay? But this one in particular, when they asked me what my boundaries were, I gave them. Not mixing work and personal. Okay, you all? Not doing it. Because that's how the enemy wants to get in there and try to keep people emotionally dysregulated. And I could sense that's what that Jezebel was trying to do, was trying to get me to go against, like be a hypocrite. And I'm like, no, we're not going to let you do that. Okay, because we're very adamant about not mixing work and personal. But that Jezzy was trying to get personal. Okay, and it wasn't personal. Not for me anyway. Oh, they thought they trauma bonded me. Yes, you all. So you just say no to the trauma bond. They thought. Listen, I'm telling y'all, once you break the trauma bond to the world, you will not get trauma bonded to another narcissistic abuser ever again. Many of us can attest to that. You will not. Once you break that trauma bond to the world, you're not going to get trauma bonded because you're going to pick up on it. The love bombs. Oh, yeah. Even in the subtle form that they dish them out. And that's what this Jenny did. She was kind of more subtle about it, but a bit too frequent with the gift giving. Oh, I've gotten rid of them all. Don't worry. Well, except I'm still waiting to go locate one more thing to get rid of. But, and it's not because, listen, y'all, demon spirit don't attach to physical object. Okay, they can't. Because a physical object like a pen, okay, it's got to be a human host that they attach to, okay? It has to be a human host. That's the simplicity of it. So for all of the narratives out there that go around about, that demonic spirit can attach to physical items, we're debunking that myth, All right, we unlearn that way of thinking because no, we now know this. God revealed this to us. I went along with that for a little bit myself because I was still learning and didn't know. But now I can come in and say, hold up a second, because that's what God revealed to me. I was like, how come? Well, we know that demon spirits don't exist without a human host. So it doesn't make any sense that a demon spirit would attach to an inanimate object. Think about that. That's logic and common sense right there. If they don't exist without a human host, well, then that means they need a biological being to attach to. So they're not going to attach to an inanimate object that can't speak or, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to. And so the enemy just wants you to believe that, because that's part of the enemy trying to get you to live in fear. Why do we get rid of the gift that evildoers give us? Well, because they were not genuine and because they came from an evildoer. That's all. And that we don't need them. We don't need to associate ourselves with that. Okay? So there you go. Lessons learned in life. All right? So we just don't need to hang on to that kind of stuff. But the narcissistic abuse is designed to turn people into a Jezebel. And so we want to be mindful of that. And it all starts, like I've said before, it all starts with that. Thinking more highly of themselves than they ought to. In other words, let's say they hold a certain position in a job and they let that go to their head. Or they hold a certain status in society and they let that go to their head. And their heart turned dark. And so what I learned was that this case study had fixated on me, apparently, for some time, and was secretly hating. Obviously. Because the Jezebels have every single demon spirit there is. And so what I observed also with what the narcissistic abusers do, is that that's right, run around like a chicken with their head cut off because they can't sense an emotional read on us, so they don't know how to act. So their true colors come out. I'm telling you. Right? So I'm not the only one. So they don't know how to act around you when they can't get an emotional read on you. And so you'll notice it more in public too, because you've learned how to control and manage your empathy switch. So when you go out there in public and things like that, those who are demonically possessed, you'll be able to spot them simply because they can't get an emotional read on you. So they will expose themselves. And we go, okay, that's it. And it doesn't take long at all. 1, 2, 3 seconds at best, because when they cannot, they'll kind of walk by you, and you'll sense their irritation, but theirs, not yours. You don't internalize it. Return to sender. Okay, we don't internalize their stuff, so we know where it's coming from, and we know why, because they can't get a read on us. Okay, true chosen ones, spiritual warriors for Christ. Once you are able to manage and control that empathy. That's right. They don't know how to act, so you will see them. They will expose themselves, okay, above all else. And so I wanted to get on here and just share this with you, because when God said that the ultimate goal, if you will, of the enemy is to turn as many people into Jezebels as he can, and they won't even know that they are a Jezebel. And I was like, wow. So for any of you who are wondering whether or not you have the Jezebel, if you are actually thinking of that and wondering it, no. You may have some narc fleas. We all have those. Okay, you have some narc fleas. Sure. But we overcome those. And that the enemy trying to trick you into thinking that you are a Jezebel. I'm telling you, the enemy would prefer that the human host does not know that they're a Jezebel. He needs to keep them crept and unawares. You see? This is why God needs to keep us aware. Getting that heightened awareness. Okay? See how that works for the spiritual battle for the mind. So if you're wondering if you are a Jezebel, if that thought's even going through your mind, then the answer is no. It's the same concept as, and be careful with this, because narcissistic abusers are using this. I found this out too. That was another red flag that I was picking up on during the case study. And I said, okay, a lot of us have come out here and said that if you have to ask yourself if you are the narc, then that means you're not. Hang tight. Do some more observation. Okay, if they are not, eventually it's going to show. Their fruits will show. You will know them by their fruits. That's what God tells us for a reason. You will know them by their fruits. That's their action and their behaviors and things like that. You will know them by their fruits as you observe more and speak less and test the spirit by the spirit. But you know, if you know yourself, you know that you're not dishing out that abuse, and that we all got tricked into stepping out of character until we realized what was going on, and then we learned to stop doing that because that's what they want. In other words, we stop giving the narcissistic abusers what they want. Oh, sure, they're going to get very upset about that, but like I say often, that's too bad, because God is going to always be in full control of everything. And these Jezebels will always underestimate the power of God. So I will share with you all a little brief thing of the case study as well, is that Jezebel was in awe that her expected outcome of the whole ordeal didn't happen the way that they wanted it to. It did not happen the way they expected it to, because they underestimate the power of God. You know, his name is Jesus. Because it is no longer I who walk, but Christ who walks through me. Same thing for you all, spiritual warriors for Christ. When we are reborn again, we go through the spiritual rebirth to know who we are. And we know that the Godhead is within. And we trust God 100%. But the enemy is always going to try to send one of his flying monkey narc and a Jezzy across our path. But like I said before, y'all, this particular one was actually playing the one-upmanship with the ex-psycho roommate. I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me, really? Yeah, that's exactly what they were doing. Right? They read my book, Real Events of Narcissistic Abuse. And they got, situation number 9, so they thought they could one-up that one. That's what they do, y'all. They got that spirit of competition on them. All right? True blue chosen ones do not. So part of connecting the dots from that case study, Jezzy, Jezzy, short for Jezebel. Part of connecting the dots is also reversing everything that they said they didn't like or didn't do or didn't. I had to flip it, okay, to connect the dots. In other words, trying to say that they didn't have a jealous bone in their body. Okay, they mean the opposite of what they say, okay? Never forget that. We learn how to do this. It becomes second nature for us. It's all part of that vigilance and awareness that God says we need to have. It's all part of being able to do that quickly and swiftly as we are doing an analysis of sorts, so that we don't keep being deceived over and over again going forward. All right, so like I've said earlier, for those who are catching this later on, the first red flag is if they are, a grown adult and they are acting way too chipper for their age, overly so. You know what I'm talking about, all right? And that what I was saying before the tech glitch took place is that this one wanted to keep the conversation going after I told them my boundary. And I'll go ahead and let everybody know that we're flexible at Consulting for Heightened Awareness, yeah, but to an extent, okay, you all. Right? We want to make sure that you survivors can get the sessions and you want to book, that you get your sessions, you get your guidance and support the whole, along the way. So that's why I had made the announcement yesterday. I want to bring it back for those who may not have heard it yet. But we've got updated individual sessions available now. Okay? And so you can always hop on over to the website, CDHRWDRMD.org. and check out those times. There might be something suitable for you. And if you don't see one that works for you, I highly encourage you to reach out and let me know a day and a time. And perhaps you want to do a 1-hour one or 30-minute, whatever it is, your preference. Let me know. And we'll go in the calendar and we'll see what we can't make work for you, okay? We're flexible like that. But the one boundary that, we do... Listen, doing a workaround, for emergency reasons and things like that, it depends on the circumstance as to when and if we'll do a workaround like that. Okay? In other words, you text or email that you would like a session and you'll pay via PayPal first or what have you, because something happened right then and there, like kind of like an emergency or whatever. And if I'm available, that should only be once in a blue moon. Because true blue, seriously, all sessions need to be booked through the website. It's not complicated. Okay, seriously, it's not hard at all. Right? It's set up quite simply. And so because listen, we're not giving nobody special treatment. Okay, not at Consulting for Heightened Awareness. We've got equality going on here. All right, you all, because we're all on this journey together. Nobody is up above one another. We stay humble, but they want special treatment. Okay, and they did not want the website to be getting. That's right. Yep, they didn't want to book through the website because what that does is it benefits for tax purposes. Okay, and so they were trying to be difficult, but also at the same time trying to get special treatment. I caught on to that. And I was like, okay, but as a case study, I needed to gather more data to bring to you all. But yeah, it's really amazing when we learn the Jezebel. That's what the narcissistic abuse is supposed to do. That's the key word there. It's supposed to turn people into a Jezebel. And for true blue chosen one, children of God, it doesn't work because we don't develop the ism mindset. In fact, we don't even accept it. It never crossed our mind that we were entitled to or better than anyone else. Or for true blue chosen one, we didn't have that kind of mindset to start with. And we've always known that there's a big world out here and that there's plenty, now we know there's plenty of room to get in our purpose and to do what God's called us to do. There's plenty of room on the world stage. We now know this, and that's a beautiful thing right there. But we never set our mind on going out there to try and steal, kill, and destroy anybody. That's not what's in a true chosen one's heart. We'd never do that. But the Jezzy case study would say that too. And what did we have to do? Because they mean the opposite of what they say, we had to flip it. And now we got the truth. And so that's all part of dissecting, if you will, an analysis. But it was really something else. But I also want to share with you this narcissistic abuser and all of them. What they do is they like the idea of something, but they are far too lazy to actually put in the work. For example, they like the idea of being in love. But in order to actually have that true love, that perfect love that casteth out all fear that from God, in order to have that, well, you got to have Jesus first. Okay, they like the idea of it. Remember how God tells us that they will have a form of godliness, but deny the power therein. Well, that's exactly what they're doing. They like the idea of something, but they keep resisting Jesus. They keep resisting the Holy Spirit, which is blasphemy against the Holy Spirit, and that is the one and only unforgivable sin. So they continue to do it, though. So, here's the other thing from the case study. I realized that, that Jezebel was very much trauma bonded to the Matrix, while at the same time trying to convince me that they're not in the Matrix anymore. I was like, well, I'm seeing things differently. And it pretty much, it got confirmed. That next morning, and the way that she was behaving inside the M matrix. Okay, I'm gonna let y'all use yourself thinking on that one. Okay, you'll know what I'm talking about. Like, you got the P matrix, you got the M matrix. There's a bunch of matrices inside the narcissistic abuse matrix bubble. Okay, there's a bunch of different matrices. And so she's very much trauma bonded to that one. Because when we are 100% dependent on God and not man, that's right, we can pick up on stuff. For example, they were trying to tell me of something particular that, oh, it'll heal itself over time. But go check with so-and-so just in case. I'm like, no. I caught the contradiction right there. And I trust God. And only God. I don't trust man. We trust God. That's God's spirit. And those who have the God spirit. All right? There you go. That's what it's all about. It's spiritual. But I also was able to get confirmation that Jezebel was very much into lasciviousness, very much into, while putting on the appearance of being humble. That's quite intriguing to uncover as well. I will not deny that. That was really intriguing. They're able to give off the appearance of being humble in the way that they dress or what have you, but while boasting and bragging about their own lasciviousness, lavish lifestyle. There you go. Oh yeah. I was like, okay. So there you go. Double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. So that's why I say that when you get the chance, if you are assigned to do this and you can observe one of these in their natural environment, you keep that empathy off. And their true colors will show real quick. All right, everybody? So I wanted to get on here and give you a little bit more info from the case study and to remind everybody, of a few things and share with you that revelation that narcissistic abuse is supposed to turn people into a Jezebel. But that is a mindset, and it starts with the high pride. That's right. And I want to also remind everybody that our brand, Breaking the Trauma Bond to the World, for those who don't know this, that you can still get you a copy of the BTBW magazine, okay, the PDF downloads. Real easy peasy download. All right, well, this is the PDF copy. And what I did, here's your hint, okay? I'm giving y'all some hints here. You can put it in a, get yourself a little binder or protective pages, right? You would print it out and protect it. And then you have a great reference to go back to. Because God led me back to this during my analysis. There's a few things he needed to remind me of so I could connect more dots. You see what I'm saying? We're on this journey together. And so that PDF copy is available for download on up to 3 devices for just $5, you all. Yeah, you get that. Get you a copy, print it out, put it in a binder, and you got it for life. Okay, because it's breaking that dependency on external validation, learning how to stop watching water boil, meaning unlearning the indoctrination of impatience, and also more about choosing your battles wisely. Okay, so all kinds of things, and I also talk about what the Trauma Bond to the World is. So I give you a lot of insights and tips there in that magazine. It's volume 1, issue 2, because I did do some editing and some updating to add some additional things for you all from the first version. So this is issue 2, not issue 1. Just for those who didn't know that. And so I highly encourage you all to get your copy and work on breaking that dependency to external validation, because that really helps make things get easier going forward. Breaking trauma bond, and then breaking the trauma bond to the world. Overcoming the unhealthy attachments to people and things, because we are not taking anything out. We didn't bring anything in. We're not taking anything out. Okay, remember that 1 Timothy 6:7. Okay, it's that we're here to do what God's called us to do. In order to figure that out, though, we've got to unpack that bag and things like that. Well, it's kind of difficult to unpack that bag if you're still dependent on external validation, because the Godhead is within. God is the only validation that we need. We don't need external validation from man. When we do something and we step back and look at it and God said it is good, that's all that matters. What them out there, what the world thinks, does not matter. Because it's not their walk on the narrow path. It's not their walk with Jesus. It's ours. Each one of our walk with the Lord is going to be unique. It's for us. Okay? God did not have us all the same, because we're not supposed to be. No 2 people should ever be exactly alike. But the narcissistic abuser That's what they want. They want a lookalike. They want somebody just like them because it makes them feel better or more normal or whatever. Well, they think they're normal. A lot of them know they're not. But what is normal? Like, I've got a video all about that. Normal is what we describe, okay, y'all? Whatever, we co-create our reality and God's reality. That's our normal. That's it. Bottom line. But when you talk more specifically about normal behaviors, okay, we know that the abuse is not normal behavior. There you go, to help put it in perspective. That discernment, okay? See, also to get that sharper discernment, it can be very difficult to do as well if you're still dependent on external validation. And it'd be real challenging to be walking in your purpose if you're still dependent on external validation, because you'll find yourself with nothing but self-disappointment and self-discouragement. So we learn not to do that, right? We don't need external validation because everything we need is already within, with the Godhead. God already validated us. God already qualifies us, not the world, okay? All right, as always, if you've got any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. If you leave them in the comments on the replay, I will get to those as soon as possible. And you can get your BTBW magazine at CDHRWDRMD.org, and you will see BTBW magazine from the drop-down navigation menu. And as soon as it gets processing and y'all want to come back to this and catch some of the replay, I will have the link to the BTBW magazine in the video description shortly. All right, you all? Yeah, for quicker access. And we are still going through the updates, so thank you again for your patience. Always, always, always. All right, you all? Sending love and light to all fellow warriors. Thank you for watching, listening, and for your support. Until next time, let's show some gratitude to the Heavenly Father. And you keep being you. In Jesus' name, amen.